interesting. I have to jerk up on the front, on the bars to get this front wheel up off the ground.
Guys, at the time I'm shooting this video, I had not adjusted the power valve on this bike because the manual tells me not to. The manual that Beta sent me says don't touch the power valve. Well, I'm playing around with that to liven the bike back up and get it some more power because it was just so underwhelming. So in future videos, I'll call that out a little bit more.
When I'm out in the flats, I'm not used to that on a 300. I'm used to just being able to, you know, rock back, snap my wrist back, and have that thing go whack right up into my face. This bike is not doing that.
One of the things that you notice pretty much right off the bat when you get on this bike is that the seat height is a little bit lower. Not only that, it just feels like a little bit shorter and smaller of a bike, and it's kind of hard to put my finger on it. I have the benefit of, when I'm doing this voiceover now, of having ridden this bike back to back with some other bikes, and when you're doing that and you're riding it back to back to back with other bikes, you can really tell that this thing feels more like 7/8 of the size of the standard dirt bike that I've been riding. And that's not a bad thing. It's something to note. It will be a lot better for guys who are 5'6", 5'7", 5'8", 5'9", because they won't feel like the bike is so big. They'll be a little bit more comfortable with that lower seat height. They're also going to just feel like they're not, you know, wrestling a big machine. And so that's a real thing. That's an advantage of this bike. It's also very nimble. It likes to turn quick. I'm not yet as comfortable with the forks on this bike as I am the other 3 or 4 bikes that I've ridden it next to. I'm still having a little bit, and I'm playing with compression, I'm playing with rebound, but I'm not as comfortable with the forks, especially at speed on this bike.
Well, initial impressions. I've taken this Beta, you know, up here into the mountain single track where the thing is designed and built, where they build that this thing is supposed to go, and it goes fine.
Keep in mind that the monologue that I'm going to embark upon here while I'm riding the bike is before I have adjusted the power valve. This was still on the very first actual single track, well, the very first ride out on the bike, so I haven't yet adjusted the power valve with the stuff that you're going to hear right here. So I've fixed the problem with the power being soft and the motor feeling like it's not coming alive.
I feel a lot of vibration through my feet. Not as much in my hands as on the Yurko. The Yurko vibrates in your hands and in your feet. This one is mostly just on your feet on the pegs. And there is obviously some vibration up on the bars. And I think that's probably why a lot of guys thought that these bikes are smoother than the KTMs is because the older KTMs is because it is. The bike is smoother with a more linear power delivery, but it lacks kind of that real two-stroke-esque bite power band. And so I think the power on this is probably easier to control. And since it isn't vibrating as much up in the bars, I think people thought, okay, so this bike is so much smoother and more well put together than the older KTMs, and I can see that. I can totally see that. They've got the starter in a better place on this bike than the older KTMs, so people probably really liked that. That's a good selling feature. And yeah, so if you're comparing it to the older KTMs, this has definitely got some advantages. Positives though, the wheelbase, it feels, I don't know how long, what the wheelbase actually is in comparison to some of the other bikes, but this bike feels like it has a little bit shorter wheelbase, which makes it turn pretty well up here in this tight, twisty single track where I'm literally getting pounded by all this scrub oak. My hands. That's another thing. This bike did not come with any handguards. And I prefer, I mean, at least the Yurko and the KTMs come with handguards, flag style handguards to save your hands. My hands are going to be pretty beat up after this because they're just getting massacred by this scrub oak here. So I wish that they'd give you at least something. Anything would be better than nothing if you're going to go ride in the tight woods like this. Oh, do these things come with handguards? And Beta just didn't give me any on this demo bike. They gave me extra levers. To run. But no handguards. I do love dirt bikes though. A little bit of a kick there. I don't know, those rocks. Steer with the back wheel on that brake. Back into the pine trees here a bit. Watch that I don't drop off that down into the ravine here. About skirted myself down. Man, I picked up that aspen tree there with my foot. It got hooked on my foot and I carried it 15 feet down the trail. I was hoping it wasn't going to catch and rip my leg off. Some of these things are just really low. Pop down a gear. That hurt. I got my head under it, or barely, not really under it, but then my backpack with my camera and my tripod smacked it too. I love the mountains. There's nothing better than mountain single track. What? Let's see what gear I'm in. There's second. There's third. And I know why a lot of the woods, tight tree guys and tricky trail guys like this bike. The front end is soaking up a lot of stuff. It's very plush, very compliant on the rocks and the roots and things.
Hey guys, if you didn't already know, Patreon is the best way to support Dirt Bike Channel. We've got some really cool rewards over there, so click on the link up here that you see to become a patron. That'll take you directly to our site and you can check everything out. You can donate as little as $1 per month and it would really, really help us out. Thanks a ton, guys.